Hello, race fans, and welcome to a brand new season of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. We are back for yet another 13-round series of tin top action. 3 sprint races with reverse grids as well. Everything you love back for another start to the season here at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. My name is Peter Mackay, and joining me in the commentary box this evening is Sam Fitzpatrick, and bringing you these gorgeous images of the home of British Motorsport and these wonderful jazzy graphics is Samuli Kumo. Sam, it's a pleasure to join you here in the commentary box for a brand new season of ARLTC. What are your predictions for the weeks ahead?
It's difficult to call. This is such a competitive championship, possibly the most competitive championship we broadcast on Apex Racing TV and of all our Apex Racing League championships. The quality is stellar. We've got many championships, main champions out there on track. Remember, this race has been going for the best part of 5 or 6 years, and so over that time we've had dozens of race winners and several champions, many of which are out there tonight. But it should be a lot of frantic racing, 50 cars on the grid for 3 20-minute races. I always get excited whenever this season starts, even when I'm not commentating. I always make sure to have a tune in for it because it's absolutely iconic.
It certainly is. I've had the great joy of, over the last season, writing the race reports, and always an enjoyable couple of hours sitting and watching the racing and then doing the write-ups and trying to dissect the carnage at certain times of some races. Just one of our 3 races of the meeting can sometimes take up a whole page in itself, but all identical Audi RS3 LMS TCR cars, global touring car formula now. So no excuses for the drivers. They're all in exactly the same car, so no complaints about balance of performance. But for those who are avid sim racing fans, you'll notice a couple of familiar names. For example, HM Engineering, the red and black cars there, Fiercely Forward, Apex Racing Team, and many others. And getting yourself into a good team, Sam, is very important indeed, because that certainly in qualifying, working together can be quite important, but more so from a setup point of view and practicing point of view, being in the right team is very important to success in this championship.
Yeah, we always see it season after season. It's those who have got, teammates around them, which always come out on top. It helps you kind of morale in a league as well, to have a few friends to take part in the races in. And we saw down the hangar straight just back there, a bit of a slalom as Jack Sedgwick just goes up to 2nd place. But a bit of a slalom down the hangar straight, which I was trying to break that slipstream. Or try to follow it from the driver ahead, and that's certainly going to be a feature for the rest of the evening. There is Sidgwick. He is actually a privateer. He does race for Inex, as you can see on the side of his car. He is a driver for Inex, but I think running solo for this season. So it'll be interesting to see how he can cope with that. Cedric, personally, probably my favourite for the season, perhaps. He was so unlucky 2 seasons ago when he really should have won the championship, but unfortunately had a bad showdown. If it weren't for the showdown, if it was just down to how many points he scored across all the meetings, like the format we have nowadays, he would have won that championship. Last season won a bunch of races, but just came up short as well. So he will be very dangerous, and well, it's a short lap round here. He's going to be able to put in another effort just in a moment as we enter the final 3 minutes of qualifying.
Yep, well, as you can see, it's a group qualifying session which has its own dynamic altogether. Of course, the draft effect, the slipstream effect from the car in front makes such a big difference here. So being able to get a bit of a toe in qualifying can make a big difference. As we see George Simmons for the Apex Racing team running the white, blue and black. So familiar now with the team, with the SDK Gaming graphics down the side as well. These are the very same graphics which you see on your screen right now, made in-house here, and you can get these for your own streams as well. Check out sdkgaming.com as we speed past the Porsche Experience Centre here at Silverstone. I must go and have a go at it one day. I actually believe they've got a 911 GT3 RS 4 litre, the 997, And yes, I'll put my anorak back on the peg in a second, Sam, but I quite fancy going to have a go in one of those.
I've been to Silverstone a few times and have sometimes walked past the Porsche Centre. Always have a look at what cars they've got kind of sat just outside. I'm in the same boat. I would love to have a go around there one day. I think I'd be a little bit scared of driving a very expensive and fast car, but it would certainly be a lots of fun. I am sure. As a few more drivers just setting times at the moment. 1 minute 20 to go, and just for a heads up with this qualifying, and I'm sure some of the drivers will be a little bit surprised by this, but the qualifying expires once you get to the 15 minutes, so it's not a case of you start your lap and then you, when the clock ticks down, you can complete it. Once that 15 minutes is up, everything just stops, and that's the end of your session. So keep that in mind as we have the battle for pole position. It is, I mean, it's not surprising that it's close, obviously, but it's top 16 separated by less than 3/10. Of course, we're using the international layout here at Silverstone, layout which isn't used a whole lot. I think some people would say that it's kind of got all the worst elements of the track, but we haven't visited this place in the past in ARLTC, so we thought that we would visit it for this season. I think it's pretty fun. Got some iconic corners situated around. No improvement there for Karlstad, but still one of the front-running amateur drivers. You'll be pleased with that. Davies also approaching the line, second place in the amateur category last season, and he remains in 25th place at the moment as well, most of the front runners are back in the pits. There's not going to be too many improvements for those top places.
No, it doesn't seem so. And if you'll notice on the side of our SDK Gaming overlay, you'll see if there's a little red marker to the left of the driver's name, they are in the Pro class. And if there's a blue marker, they are in the AM class. Now, I've just noticed something, Sam. Bobby Thompson, British Touring Car Championship driver, he's in the AM class. I'll explain why in a second, but we're about to get the start of our first race of a brand new season here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. And starting on pole position, well, carrying on where he left off, Kieran Harrison, the defending champion, running the number 1 plate on his HM Engineering Audi. Jack Sedgwick, our very own Sam Fitzpatrick's call for the championship, will start second. On row 2 will be Carl Janssen and Jason Cooper. Row 3 will be Terje Flatten and Corentin Guinez. Watch for the Frenchman. Row 4 will be Norbert Leitner and Damien Harris. And row 5 will be Wojciech Swiridowicz and George Simmons. Row 6 will be Bobby Thompson and Marcel Tai. On the 7th row, the graded Fraser Smith and Daniel Nagy, followed by Ollie Marcus Jorgen, Oliver Ackerman, Preben Wally, Robin Monster, Gaten Anger, Craig Williams, Marius Karlstad, Adam Hadfield, Oyston Herford, Jens Ledwig in 24th. On the 13th row is Nathan Davies, followed by Igor Shurikov, followed by Hub Etterman, Mark Johnson, Marcel Frisch, Mikael Garcia, Ben Gregory, Jake Robertson, Mark Woodhouse, Toby Ward, Tim Perry, and Sergei Glazkov. And we've still got more. Like Gidsley, Bruno Belny, Andrew Woodhouse, our very own Andrew Woodhouse. Woody will be looking out for him. Baron Glover will start 40th, followed by Arjen Bakker, Rob Sanford, Stu Abbott, Robert Rund, Kevin Marsali, Martin Shirley, Andrew Brahma, Paul Coburn, and Adam Bath. 49 cars, a packed grid of Audi RS3s. Goodness me, they've got more stock than your local Audi dealer here, Sam.
Definitely. Just to point out the quality of the field very quickly, Jake Robertson, World Championship World's Rallycross driver, 27th on the grid. That's how good the field is out here today.
That's it. And we're waiting for the lights. We're ready for a brand new season of ARLTC, and we are off. Kieran Harrison leads them away here at Silverstone for round 1 as they head down towards turn 1, and it's an excellent start from Harrison. Nice and tidy with Sedgwick bringing in behind him in second place, and we see one of the core cars coming up there. That's Carl Janssen into third spot. Nice and clean and tidy as they head into the first tight right-hander.
Yeah, just the launch that Harrison needed. No changes so far in the top 13. Great start for Preben Vale further down. He's gone from 17th up to 14th. That's just offline there. That was Swiridowicz there, of course, 6-time champion in this series, and he's down to 9th initially. In fact, he's just hanging on to that. He's side by side with his teammate, George Simmons.
Yep, drafting down the hangar. Straight they go, down towards Stowe. In a Formula One car would be almost flat out, but not in these front-wheel drive touring cars. Typical Audi as well, the engine quite far forward, so fighting the understeer can be quite tricky, and just getting the technique required to get these front-wheel drive cars around the circuit, neat and tidy, very, very important as they come through at the club chicane. Good opportunity as, whoop, we got somebody off in the back there. Who's that?
Oh, that's Monster, and also I think it was Hereford as well, and a few other drivers. You can see the pieces of car falling off these off these cars. We are running the new damage model in this series, and so it does look quite spectacular. And the truck cars are quite brittle out there, so contacts like that with no fast repairs, well, that could be the end of the race and potentially no points. So that could be quite important. That just seems to be an incident coming out of Stowe. Here comes Andrew Woodhouse down the inside. We've got a couple of Woodhouses out there. Mark Woodhouse as well. You can see he's up in 31st, but Woodhouse up into 36th. There's a big netcode contact ahead, and now Woodhouse is going to go hard into the tyre wall, and that's the end of race 1 for him, probably.
Oh, what a pity for Andrew Woody Woodhouse. Well, he would be going, oh bang. That's it. That was his his commentary catchphrase.
Won't be getting any of the bubbly.
No bubbly for Andrew Woodhouse, but I tell you who there might be for is Kieran Harrison, who leads from Jack Sedgwick so far. Of course, we've got 3 20-minute races, but this is the only race where we run in grid order, as we've got one of the Craig setup shops car off. I think that's Craig Williams himself, gone off at the club chicane, or what would be the club chicane.
Yeah, he seems to have gone off at an odd spot there, but once again, the exit of Stowe, maybe just the drivers tightening up, trying to get into single file for Vale, and it's caused quite a few problems so far. There is Perry behind Kisley. Woodhouse of the Mark variety up into 28th. And also Perry is going to lose another position there to Marcel Fritsch, who gains another place. By the way, some of these amateur drivers that you're seeing highlighted in blue, some of them are 3,000 plus iRacing. It's just that they're in the bottom half of the field. We've got more pro drivers than amateur drivers. Most of the drivers up there are plus 3,000 iRacing. So that is where the confusion, that's where the tough ratings come from. Once again, I reiterate, it's a very good field that we've got out there.
Absolutely. You know, if a genuine British Touring Car Championship driver is an amateur, that gives you an idea just how tight it is. Of course, we normally have none other than now double British Touring Car Championship Ash Sutton joining us, Saturn, but it doesn't look like I don't see his entry on the list here for this season so far.
Yeah, maybe he's going for the easy championships in real life and giving this one. But I will point out Ash hasn't won this championship, albeit he has won many races, and often is held back by the fact that he does do real life racing, has to miss around occasionally, as you can expect. But hopefully we might see him back later in the season, maybe.
Well, you never know. Absolutely. Of course, it'll be with the British Touring Car Championship just announcing today. They've pushed their start of the season back a little bit, I think about 5 weeks. So you never know. We might see him coming in to sharpen the elbows up, ready for action at Thruxton in round 1 of the British Touring Car Championship.
As we see Suridovic trying to gain back a place, Damien Harris is just ahead of him. Could see Harris back. Done the last couple of seasons, and he just defends a little bit down into Vale. You can see the top 7 drivers currently all in a train, and then you've got that little bit of a gap in House, just not quite with the toe of Leitner ahead, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Mr. 6-time champion Wojciech Suridovic. He has dominated the past few seasons, unable to win the championship the last couple of seasons, but he will always be a threat come the end of the championship.
Yeah, he will be. We always saw Wojciech getting himself fully involved in a few battles last year. Of course, it's with such a competitive grid, and you can't just qualify at the front and clear off. Well, you can for race 1, but after race 2 and race 3 with the reverse grids, it's racecraft is something that's absolutely vital in the ARLTC. But Kieran Harrison just about holding off Jack Sedgwick for now.
Yeah, and Cedric might have a better opportunity down into Vale, perhaps. He's just trying to put his rival offline slightly. We've got Carl Janssen just behind them. But good defense right now from Harrison. He's just been able to fend that off. But one small mistake from him, and Cedric is right on. And, 20-minute races, it's a short race. When you're out in the lead with 6 cars queuing up behind you, it feels like an eternity out there. So for Harrison to hold on to the end of this race would be a tricky feat.
It would, yeah. You're always vulnerable to the draft, of course, going down the hangar straight as well, and you can be quite aggressive on the brakes in these cars because they've got a pretty effective ABS system. It's actually not so intrusive a system that you feel like it's kind of unpredictable, but stops the lockups as well. It's quite an handy system on this car.
Yeah, whenever I've driven this car, it's always been quite easy to deal with the braking. So yeah, I can certainly understand that one. Leitner with a slowdown just further back. Leitner's down into 9th place there. He's managed to cut the cut through. Oh, as he's made contact now with Suridovic and Simmons. Might just be able to get the pair of them here whilst they were battling. Simmons tries to get to the inside. Leitner doesn't want to give up on it. He's already pretty angry that he's picked up that slowdown. Doesn't want to lose any more positions, but he's going to have to back out of that one. Here comes Suridovic. Oh, that was very close to contact between the two of them, and this is now holding them up and inviting Thompson, Ty, Smith and Jorgen into the battle.
It is indeed. It's just trying to, it's all about, sometimes not necessarily about the overall fastest driver, often more so it's about who can make the least mistake and also who's good in the combat. We saw it so many times last season, drivers who really kind of got themselves involved in tussles that we mean perhaps better avoiding, but that's all about the punch-up of touring car racing.
Yeah, and Thompson now trying to benefit from this and gets to the inside of Wojciech Suridovic. Suridovic just staying there. They're absolutely level on speed down the straight, and that's 2x2 going into Stowe. You can track extend a little bit and get a 1x, and when driving the IR01 round space, you can actually pick up the slowdown, and then it would basically serve itself, such as the slightly faulty iRacing slowdown system. So I'm not sure if you can take benefit of that. Seemingly none of the drivers track extending anyway, and Thompson has done a good job there. He is up now 2 places from his race start. That is a good effort, and this was the replay of the 3 wide, and maybe a little bit of netcode involved in that one, I'm not quite sure, but that was really unlucky there for Norbert Leitner, who's gone from 7th down to 13th in a couple of laps.
Yeah, not ideal for Norbert, the man from Hungary, a teammate of course to Corentin Guina, is very, very fast Frenchman, almost Laurent Aiello-esque in his HM Engineering Audi, a relatively recent addition to the HM Engineering squad, a team who have really risen to the top echelons of the sport in the last few months, Sam.
Yeah, they've done insane. Have HM Engineering, of course, Kieran Harrison winning the title last season, and yeah, to jump into a series like this and win on basically your first attempts, it is very tricky to do, as we've got side by side for the lead. Here comes Cedric. This is as close as he's come. Harrison will stick it round the outside. These guys are going to be going for the championship all season long, potentially the 2 favourites for the championship right here alongside one another. What can Janssen do? Interestingly, he doesn't try to make it 3 wide. Maybe my immature mind would have gone for that one, but instead he stayed behind, and that's why, because he feels like he could get Harrison. Cedric into the lead. He carried immense speed going into turn 1 and down the Hamilton straight, and now sliding it on the brakes a little bit like the MotoGP bikes that we see around this place. Goes Harrison trying to defend, but he's down into 3rd position. Great move there from Janssen. That was very calculated. Got the outside into Abbey, and then that turned into the inside a couple of corners later. And now even Jason Cooper might be on his way past, and Cedric has picked up a slowdown, and just as he did all the hard work to get into the lead, that is not usual for Jack Cedric, and out of nowhere Janssen is up into the lead, and that would have been long odds 1 lap ago.
Oh yeah, the thing is, in this particular format, you just cannot afford such things as slowdown penalties. When you step over the track limits, the iRacing system will determine if you've gained an advantage or not, or a significant advantage enough and it will administer you a penalty where you, because the name suggests, you literally have to slow down until it is satisfied you have served the penalty. Often it will say slow down for a second and a half, but usually the penalty is much more. It's usually a 3 or 4 or sometimes even 5-second loss.
Yeah, it really depends where you get them. As Suridovic, a little bit of side contact to Thompson. It's also going on with Leitner, who's well, he's got a few enemies, and we're only halfway through the first race of the season. 16 meetings we have this season, 48 races. So we're completed about 1% of the season so far. So we've got 100 times more excitement to come than has already happened. This is usually the dull race, but you can see it's still all going on. Karlstad involved in this particular battle, and he's battling with Adam Hadfield. Back again for another season. Hadfield just has to back out of that. Well, apologies, that's Hadfield moving ahead. Karlstad losing out, and he's got his teammate Jorgensen out just behind him. Good to see so many Europeans, particularly Scandinavians. They are very good at sim racing and motorsports, are the Scandinavians. So great to see a few of them out there, as they almost had 3 wide and almost 3 wide again going through Vale. Certainly starting to get a bit more aggressive now out on circuit as the trains kind of drop and the slipstream becomes more useful, as we've got a big amount of damage, it seems, for Adam Hadfield. I can only imagine, because he's crabbing all over the place.
Oh yeah, not good at all for Hadfield there. It just shows you how, as you mentioned, how fragile these cars can be. Absolutely incredible, actually. How you would think a touring car will be built of tough stuff, but if you just get caught in the wrong place, it can really make a bit of a difference.
I think that must just be a puncture. I imagine. I mean, I would be surprised if he's really done in a wheel there. Oh, we've got 3 wide. Oh, this can't go well. Yep, they all make contact, but it's worked really well there. Good job from the HM Engineering and the Zodiac cars. They now move ahead. Apologies, that was the full send cars, it says on the side of their machines. Just moving ahead, and Leitner just cannot catch a break at the moment, and Jorgensen and Karlstad now sit right behind him as well. He drives further back. Interesting that Jake Robertson hasn't been able to make much progress. Jake Robertson, World Championship driver in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, and he's down in 24th place. A little bit of a change for him. Certainly very much drive these cars differently to how he would his Subaru on the Rallycross courses, but is a bit surprising that he's struggling to move up through the field at the moment.
Yeah, it just shows you that it doesn't necessarily transfer over. Of course, Johan Harf for the Apex Racing team actually was doing double duty at one point, where he would do the Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup in the Porsche in the afternoon, and then would do the Rallycross race in the evening, and then went on to win the iRacing World Rallycross Championship, which is mighty impressive. And Jake is one of the absolute youngest driver in the field in the World Rallycross Championship on iRacing, and did an absolutely mega job for Ed Carpenter Racing, or out on secondment anyway to Ed Carpenter Racing from the Apex Racing team. But also a front runner in the British Boring Car Championship as well, with the Volkswagen Jetta diesel.
Of course, hosted by our good friend Chaz Draycott. I doubt Chaz is listening along, but if he is,
you'd be surprised. He has fingers in many pies.
Yes. That's a really cool championship. That's he organised. I believe they run all the same liveries, don't they, from a specific season?
That's correct. Right? Yes. Late 90s super touring liveries. Like, I used to love my dad had a Volvo T5, so I used to love the Volvo, the Ricard Rydell Volvo S40. That was very, very good.
Maybe we could do something similar for ARLTC one day. Yes, that would be. We've had it with other series that we've broadcasted on Apex Racing TV, and usually some spectacular liveries are produced for that. Gates and Anger, one of the new drivers to the series, I believe. and he's doing very well in 23rd place, just behind Oliver Ackerman. Great to see Ackerman out there for T3 Esports, a couple of T3 Esports drivers out there. They are a very solid team, so nice to see them taking up the series. Zuridovic has just dropped down to 11th place. You may have seen him move up to 9th place for a moment. He managed to get past Bobby Thompson, who, well, it's a fascinating duel, isn't it? You know, Bobby Thompson, real life British touring car driver versus Zuridovic, who is a 6-time champion on the sim racing. Very much two different worlds, but two quality drivers, and they are battling very hard. And then we've got Marcel Tai as well, Team Huizenveld, new driver to the championship, and Zuridovic trying to establish his authority, but Tai probably won't realise the Polish driver is quite as successful as he is, and he's done a good job at fending off that attack.
Oof, yeah, absolutely. Into the club chicane, just placing his car exactly where he needed to be. But yeah, brilliant start to the season for Bobby Thompson. We did see him in the last couple of rounds of last season, a month or two ago, but doing a great job. And I tell you what, he's recovered from one of the biggest accidents you'll ever see at Croft. Back at the tail end of last season in the British Touring Car Championship, where he barrel rolled through the what looked like turnip fields at Croft in his, funnily enough, Audi, what is referred to as an S3 saloon, but the same kind of body shell as this particular car. Yeah, thank God he was okay, but that was him for the rest of the season. But great to see him back and racing so strong in this depth of field.
I don't watch much BTCC, but I did see that one. And
oh, you're shortchanged.
I was absolutely my jaw dropped when I saw that. It was something from a video game. Frankly, just the amount of flips I did. So yeah, that was pretty immense. But then managed to recover pretty well, which is fantastic to see. Leitner back ahead of Varley. By the way, reverse grid of 26, and I'm sure many drivers may be saying, I thought the reverse grids were different for race 2 and race 3. Well, they are, but the same number was spun twice, which is I think about a 4% chance of that happening. So they're both 26 races, 26 spots, which does make it slightly easier for us up in the commentary box. So at the moment, pole position for race 2 would be Ben Gregory. However, Mikel Garcia has just had a mare out there. He's gone off. Must have been Abbey, and has fallen down the order, so he would have been within the reverse grid, and that means that, so rather than Gregory being on pole, it's now Shurikov, and that was Garcia. He's managed to hit the wall from there. He should be able to finish, Garcia, but much further down than the order than he would have wanted.
Absolutely, yeah, not a good start at all to the season, but I suppose the good thing about ARLTC is that we have such a wide variety of circuits, 13 rounds with 3 races in each round, so there's plenty of time to recover if you need to. And one of my favourite, there's a couple of nice quirky circuits on there on the lineup. I tell you what, I cannot wait until we go to VIR, Virginia International Raceway, one of the great hidden gems around the world.
Well, someone's got to be looking forward to that one. I can guarantee you the drivers do not share your anticipation for that one. We tried to visit there 2 seasons ago, and all we heard was whining from the drivers about how dreadful the track is. In the end, the meeting was cancelled because iRacing released a build rights, and that wasn't week 13 or anything, but they released an update and ruined it for us, so we didn't race there. But I am delighted to put the drivers through that misery for this season. Should be a good one. I was recently driving the Porsche Cup around the Grand East circuit, and trust me, the full circuit is easy as once you've driven the Grand East. So that's what the drivers I think should do to appreciate that circuit. Zuridovic has been from Smith. Smith going around the outside. He'll have the inside for the next corner. Oh, Zuridovic with contact. That could be a puncture as well. I think he's got away with that one, has Zuridovic, but he's down to 15th now. And I look back, he hasn't really done anything wrong. He's been very quick, Zuridovic, but he just has lost all the 50-50 battles. Yeah,
not what we're used to seeing. Of course, Wojciech, an absolute stalwart, a seasoned veteran of the ARLTC. But no, not a good start to the season indeed as well. Now, do we have an Alex Simpson in the grid today? I think we do. We should do. For Apex
I
Racing
don't
Team.
think we do, unfortunately. But
So he's not
Janssen,
driver manager anymore. He's just manager.
Yes, yes. I think Janssen, meanwhile, is approaching the final few corners, 4/10 of a second lead, and is about to take this first race win of the season.
Looks like it. Yep. So round he comes then, round the club chicane, and Carl Janssen is going to be your winner then for Core Sim Racing's Core. Were so unlucky at the end of last season, losing out the championship at the last moment, but Carl Janssen takes the checkered flag with Kieran Harrison second, Cooper third, Guinez fourth, and Jack Sedgwick in fifth. A brilliant start to the season for HM Engineering. 2 cars in the top 4, as well as Norbert Leitner comes round to finish 11th, and Bobby Thompson gets the AM class win in 9th.
We may have to revise the amateur class. We always leave a disclaimer saying this is subject to change based on results. That is a very good performance there from Bobby, and he's done extremely well to finish in that 9th place. But perhaps will be promoted to pro for the next round. Jorgen as well, another debutant, doing very well in 14th place. So congrats to him, beating some of the top drivers from the amateur category last season. Adam Barth is going to reach the line. That was not for position right there, but Barth finishing in 42nd place. Good to see him out there, doing better than his Scuderia Alpha Touring car teammate, Andrew Woodhouse, who in the end did not finish the race after that huge incident we saw for him earlier on in the event. So we have got a race 2 coming up in just a moment, and we should be able to take you through the grid for this race 1. And it is Igor Shurikov. In fact, actually, Igor Shurikov taking the pole position then. He finished in 26th place in race 1. So he starts on the front for this race 2. Gregory in 2nd place. There's Oliver Ackerman. Craig Williams, watch out for him. Jake Robertson and Gates Nanga. I mean, that'd be a good race 1 grid, let alone race 2. Then it is Oystein, Hereford, Wojciech Suridovic, Hube Eaterman, Nathan Davies, Mark Johnston, Marius Karlstad. Then it is Ole Marcus Jorgensen, Fraser Smith, Preben Vala, and Norbert Leitner in 16th place. I'll let the rest of the field go through for you now because there's a lot out there, and we are about to have the lights go green.
We are, yep, the way the lights illuminate, and they are out. We're off, and Igor Shurikov leads us away for race 2 of the day, our first of our mixed mumble-jumble reverse grid races. My favourite, as well as, Ben Gregory gets the impetus there from 2nd place on the grid, takes the lead into the stadium section as Jake Robertson, he's getting really late on the brakes there as well. With now we have, there was one of the other Apex Racing cars, I think that might have been George Simmons in there as well, getting his elbows out. Down they go through this really tricky section. It's almost like going down a service road and then back onto the circuit proper.
Yeah, and a few cars just getting caught up there as they tightened up. I think one of the drivers came across and hard into the wall as my timing screen is all freezing up because there's so many changes of places. It's Sergei Glasgow. Good job there from Sam to pick that one out. So Glasgow on his debut, unfortunately having an absolute mare for this race 2 of the evening. But Gregory doing well from out in the lead. Shurikov must have got a slowdown or something because I think he got away all right. But then, has lost a few places very quickly. So it's Gregory, Williams, Shurikov, Robertson, and Ackerman. Currently the top by Suridovic, looking very dangerous as well, up in 6th position. Stu Abbott missing out on the reverse grid. He's down just outside the top 30 as the field scatters through too wide pretty much all the way down. I can say that Carl Janssen has gained 9 places. Awesome start for the race winner from race 1 as we've got a couple of very close Apex Racing team cars. That's Suridovic gaining more places. He's up into 4th place now as Suridovic, and really showing the pace that he clearly had in race 1, but wasn't able to show it because he was in traffic for the whole time. We've got Davies having a spin almost. I think that was actually Anger who we saw have a big slide with when he made contact with another driver, and now he's having to go defensive. Davies trying to take advantage of this. He's right on the inside there with the Welsh flag on his bonnet, and he moves through as everyone on the outside goes battles with one another. Davies manages to pick up the places, and he's up into 8th place.
Fantastic stuff, and you can see on the top right hand side of your screen, you can see our SDK Gaming graphics software, and just showed the entire field wedged together. It's like a packet of M&M's, Sam.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, right close to one another at the moment, and that won't separate a whole lot from here on in. All that is Davies spinning off. He did so well down the hangar straight, positioned his car perfectly, but he's pretty much lost all of that good work all of a sudden, and has to scamper across the grass to get back onto the track. He's lost about 10 places just with that, as Nathan Davies. Who is that now at the front of the train? Oh, that's a little bit of contact. That was Thompson moving past. Thompson's flown through. He's up 8 places now as Thompson. Janssen behind is up 15. Janssen, if he can keep up, if he has a decent result in race 3, Janssen, and keeps up this form in race 2, he could well be our championship leader after round 1.
He could be, indeed, and it's the consistency factor is so important, isn't it? And we saw that last season with Kieran Harrison. He was always the man with a lot of pace, wasn't he? Because he was always the Mr. Practice. He was always top of the timesheets in practice, and often right up there in qualifying as well. But yeah, just clicked off the results when he needed to. But yeah, who could remember that? Who could forget that last round at Sebring with technical failures hitting Ross Balfour? It was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I really want to see Ross come back for this season to win that championship. They never won the championship before, despite being around for a few seasons. Unfortunately, he's not on the grid for this season, albeit if he did want to turn up, he would be more than welcome to. We do have some drop rounds for the first 13 meetings. I think we have 1 or 2 drop rounds. I'm sure it's a fantastic number, whoever wrote the rules. Then the last 3 rounds cannot be dropped, and that was why it hurt Balfour so much last season. The last 3 rounds can't be dropped. If it could be dropped, he would have won the championship. So, just like Sedgwick a couple of seasons ago, he was very unlucky on that front. There goes Suridovic, meanwhile, he's up into 3rd place. And, well, this is an interesting front group. Gregory, 3rd place out of the amateur drivers last season. Williams, terrific driver is Craig Williams, 5k odd iRacing. As Bobby Thompson's had to come into the pits, there's a huge shame. He was doing so well. I can only imagine that's a penalty for either jumping the start, well, that'd be a bit late by now. I imagine he's not served a slowdown, I can only imagine.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, brilliant. He'll have to go straight to the... We'll need to get our... You know how you have the Toka bus where all the naughty drivers go? We'll need to have an ARLTC camper van where you're sent to get given a good telling off.
I'm sure there will be stewards out after the race, and maybe they will give Thompson a telling off for that one, albeit the iRacing system would have dealt with all that. Cones scattering everywhere in the background, and he magically reset with some very brave marshals who go out on circuit to put them back, only for them to be hit the very next lap. Woodhouse is up in 22nd place. That's the wide, and well, you can tell that wasn't really going to work well, and they lose again 10 places just with that one. That was Johnston. Good to see Adam Barth up into 30th place. He's gained a bunch of places, hasn't he, Barth? Also Hadfield up 16 places. Had some damage in race 1, did Hadfield, so he's very much out of position. But Barth doing very well after, of course, commentating on this series for about 4 years, I think, before we've stepped into the box.
Yeah, we've certainly got big shoes to fill, don't we? And it's great to see Adam Bath there. Now he's running now. What I thought when Adam was racing in the BSR Kia Classic last year, and his car I thought was a West Indies cricket strip. And I was just like, oh, some people say they can't believe Jamaica, they have a touring car team, but actually it's Aston Villa colours, which is obviously not quite as glamorous as the Cameron.
Oh, take that back. Some Crammies will be very angry with you after that. No, I mean, poor him. Is all I can say. Coming from a Norwich supporter, but well, we are getting
I
promoted
don't like football
next
at all.
season. I don't like football either, but I hear that you should know the basic knowledge of it. So
True.
I'd say I'm a Norwich supporter.
Now, what are they? The Canaries?
You are right. Yeah, and you
Oh.
say you're not a fan.
Well, it's because they run the same colours as Lotus.
They do.
It's
I'm
the
not
same
sure if that's a
county as Great
coincidence
Lotus.
or if that is legit, because obviously Lotus and Keacham, at least formerly based in Norfolk, I believe.
Lotus still are. Lotus still are. Lotus were originally in London, actually, and then moved their way up to Hethel, where they're now based.
About 20 minutes away, 15 minutes away from my house. Oh, that's
Oh.
quite a collision there for Fritsch. He's down to 32nd. It's Fritsch down 4 places. I did not expect that. Fritsch is a very good driver. So yeah, must have been in the wars. I can only imagine that they're going mega defensive. By the way, we've still got Craig Williams leading the race, 1 second ahead of Wojciech Suridovic. Next, Gregory Shurkov. Out of the front drivers from race 1, we've got Janssen up 19 places into 7th. We've got Guinness up 13 places up into 10th. And we've also got Robin Monster up 19 places to 29th. They are the largest gainers so far.
Yeah, these Robin Monster, of course, got a little bit of real world experience as well. His team Monster, not the Monster Energy drink, of course, but ones that races in some of the Creventic series races.
Yeah, we've broadcasted Robin in the when we used to do the Sim Racers World GT Championship. I think Robin did explain a few of his exploits. He's driving for Ferry Monsters Esports. Get my words out. Which is not the same team as what he was racing as, but so is that his real life team?
Yes, Ferry Monster are a real world racing team. Yeah, they run TCR cars in Creventic, the endurance series like Spa and things like that with the touring cars.
That is pretty awesome. Once again, another exceptional driver. And he's in 28th place, albeit that is because he was shuffled down the order. I do remember from Sim Race as well. He wasn't quite as fast as Martin van Loosenot, who is an absolute, who's pro level, I believe is Van Loosenot. But I think he was teammates with Van Loosenot and would often finish second best to him or kind of around that area. So he is extremely good. That was in GT3 cars back then. Yeah, adapting to these TC cars, at least on the virtual world. Norbert Leitner, well, up into 31st, but that's his 15 places down from where he wanted. And look at all that damage as well. He is fortunate to still be driving that car straight and seems to be driving that car very fast at the moment. He just needs to try to get to 26th, and that will be reverse grid for race 3, which would be a great position to be in.
Well, we see this so much in the British Touring Car Championship as well. The top 12, that's always the race that you want to get, and you want to get in that top 12 after race 2, so you get that, you're in the reverse grid bunch. And it was quite extraordinary the amount of times Colin Turkington, the then defending champion, was winning race 2 and then pulling the ball out, and it was 12 every single time. I was thinking it was like they had a bag of 12s.
Oh, we got Woodhouse off. He was doing well, was Woodhouse. Yeah, he must have. Where's Bath? Is Bath still ahead? Yeah, Bath's still in 30th place. Apologies to Adam. I just think he's actually dropped down. Igor Shurikov and apologies, that's just on my screen. Do not take any notice of myself. It's fine for the leaders. It's just such a big grid that my timing screen slightly falters. But as soon as it's up on the overlay, that is fine. You can see Williams, Suridovic, Grigory, and Shurikov, Jorgensen rounding out the top 5. But here comes Janssen up the inside. I don't think Janssen will win this race, but he could get a podium out of this. He's currently 3.5 seconds off the lead. And Williams and Svidovic are very quick, so he needs to hope that those two battle. In fact, Svidovic now only 0.3 of a second behind, gradually closing that gap by about a 1/10 of a lap on this very short circuit at Silverstone. So we could see a change for the lead quite soon.
Yeah, I can imagine the drivers when they were doing their practice just be getting dizzy going around here, just short laps. But I suppose one thing, good way if you get that was one thing when you're doing practice laps at Le Mans and you make a tiny mistake and you're like, oh, I've got another just under 4 minutes to go around. If you're in a GT car, you're thinking, oh, I really want to have another go at that. But there's Nordschleife, even worse.
Yeah. If only that I've seen that request come in a few times. I was like, can we just drive the same sector of the Nordschleife time and time again, just go through like an infinite loop or something? But so far, iRacing at least haven't done that. It's really nice actually when you've got smaller circuits like this, like the international and the national layout we have at Silverstone. You can just practice certain corners. If you can't get cops right, then try the national layouts and you'll nail it almost within a week, I imagine.
Indeed, yes. It's Cops is one of those corners where you just have to take one big breath in and just hope for not hope for the best, but track limits abuses, I suppose.
Yeah, track limits are always such a pain round. This circuit. I don't think we're visiting Spa this season, so that should be as fair. We are going to Kota West, however, on the top takeoff short circuit. We're going to Kota West, which is the S's and the final sector. That's it, Sector 1 and Sector 3, and no Sector 2 pretty much. I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, back to the current. Fraser Smith on the back of Nathan Davies. I'm hoping big things from Davies this season. He was in second place out of the amateur drivers last season, ended up runner-up. I think he's certainly one of the favourites for this season, but obviously when there's 3,000 I-rated opponents in the amateur category, it is tricky to win that one. He's done 8 places actually, is Davies, so he finished all right in race 1, I think about 20th in race 1, so he should get a decent amount of points for this meeting, but not quite as high up. And also a little bit of a change for this season. We've changed the points format. It just means that the top 10 positions or so are worth that bit more. Particularly the top 8 places are worth that bit more. It's not just good enough to finish the races. You need to finish well in the races. So any of the amateurs finishing in the top 10 is that can be quite important, as Woodhouse just about escapes the grasp of Nagy, who's actually I believe a World Touring Car driver, or certainly a European Touring Car driver in real life is Daniel Nagy. We've seen him race in this series in the past, so nice to see him back. So another very good driver alongside Bobby Thompson from the real world.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see the crossover, and I was writing about this the other day, Sam. Is that this is 2021 is a year whereas we see Nagy having a look at the inside of Andrew Woodhouse for Team Mad, but not quite getting it done. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, let's go back then. Svirovic at the front, then gone past Craig Williams, 2 seasoned veterans of the championship here, down towards into the club chicane. And Svirovic just hangs on. But yeah, I was saying, Sam, this is the year 2021 where 2020 the sim racing was really turbocharged on an already upward curve, and really forced into the awareness of many fans. And this is the year where it really stands on its own 2 feet, and it's brilliant to see so many real world drivers continuing to use the software as they were before.
Yeah, absolutely, and credit to iRacing as well. That I think they've made the sim I think just less kind of glitchy and a bit more usable. It's kind of the go-to sim now for all of those real-life series who are hoping to replicate in the sim world.
Slow down for Gregory.
Yeah, poor needs there for Gregory. Or is he just? Yeah, I think you're right. I was thinking maybe he's just lifting up to let past the answer, but I think you were right before that was a slowdown. And he's still early on the brakes. He really wants to get back onto the throttle. You try to serve the slowdown in the braking area, and so you can get on the throttle earlier for the exit and maybe improve your exit slightly. But Gregory was lucky there that the slowdown wasn't a couple of tenths more, otherwise he would have lost more places. Meanwhile, Jorgen up ahead of Ackerman. Ackerman's held his own there in 7th place, but Jorgen as well. Up 7 places now is Jorgen. Very good job as Jorgen. Again, I think he's going to have to be promoted because he's doing very well there.
Yeah, indeed. I've come up for a new name for the amateur class. We could call it Nearly Pro, because amateur just seems a bit unfair for some of them. Nearly Pro or almost Pro, semi-pro even. might be a good one. I mean, look at that. I mean, the strength of field for the whoa, goodness me, is that in the background? Ackerman having a massive moment there. And that is the thing with these Audi TCR cars, front-wheel drive, but you can have some proper Tiffany Dell on Top Gear late 1990s front-wheel drive oversteer moments, which are usually very spectacular.
Yeah, and Ackerman picked up a slowdown as well from that one. He'll hold on against the defending champion Harrison. That amateur iRacing 1.9, I mean, it doesn't sound that impressive, but what you got to remember is that that's literally everyone, like everyone who isn't 4,000 iRacing. Like it is that. So we've got many drivers who are less than 2,000, you know, are less than 1,500 even, who maybe just bring that average down slightly. So the amateur class does vary quite a bit in scores. It really varies from about 3,000 to just 1,000 iRacing. Of course, if you want to take part in this championship, and why wouldn't you? You can still sign up. Go to apexracingleague.com and you can sign up for that. We've also got the Porsche Cup Championship as well that we are accepting entries for at the moment. That's starting in a couple of weeks. But if you want to take part in the TC Championship, go to Apex Racing League, head over there, pay the entry fees, put in the entry form, and you'll be all prepped. And you can start racing. And also there's a link in the description below to the Apex Racing League Discord, I believe. And if you click on that, then you can check out all our new series announcements, because we've got a few coming up in the next few weeks. So certainly recommend it. I think that was Jorgen just dropping a few places there. So that was a slight curse from myself when I was complimenting Jorgen. Maybe he heard me and was trying to insist that he could stay in the amateur division.
Yeah, he's going, oh, those sandbags I threw out the window, I should maybe put them back in the boot now. Yeah. Goodness me. Oh, now we're just getting word from our ever-observant producer, Sam Kumo, that it's actually serving a slowdown. Oh, so there are quite a few drivers falling foul of the iRacing automatic stewards in this race. Now, where has Spiridiewicz taken the white flag yet? Where is he on track? He's just coming down the Hangar Straight. Now, is the Hangar Straight is the one that's been renamed after Sir Lewis Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken?
I think it's the Pit Straights, which is the Hamilton
of course.
Straights.
My apologies. It is. You're absolutely right. It is, and I think well overdue, actually, I would say. I think it's a fantastic addition to a circuit which, of course, not only the home of British motorsport, but a circuit that Lewis has been so dominant on. Now, this is going to be close if we're going to get the white flag or the checkered flag here for Wojciech Spiridiewicz. Round the club chicane he goes. Checkered flag is in the air, so it's going to be the Polish ace, the multiple former champion for Apex Racing Team, wins Race 2 here at Silverstone with Carl Janssen. Whoa, a double podium so far for the Super Swede. And Craig Williams very happy with his podium as well. Ben Gregory, top of the AM class bunch. Corentin Guina is in there too in 7th. Now, who is going to get that? Who would have thought P26 would be so important, Sam?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Leitner. So Leitner did work hard. Well done to Noah Leitner, because that's the least he deserves. He's been very unlucky, but he battled his way up to 26th, and that will be front row for him alongside Monster. So two very good drivers, you know, two drivers who I think will be fighting for top 10s in the overall championship up there on the front row of the grid. Woodhouse coming across the line. I'll also just say that Janssen managed to overtake Williams right at the end. So that was that might be Janssen's drive of the season, and we're only in race 2 because to go from 26th to 2nd is mighty, and to score that amount of points in the first 2 races, as a reminder, you know, the points for this season, the top positions count that much more, are that much more weighted. It's already been a perfect round for Janssen. He just needs to try to finish in the top 10 for the last race, and he'll certainly be the highest point scorer. We've now got a small break a chance to catch our breaths because it's a 5-minute break, and then we head over to the feature race. Wojciech Savidovic, though, they can see 1.5 seconds winning the race. Carl Janssen in second place, Craig Williams in third. Ben Gregory hold on well for fourth and wins the amateur category. Igor Shurikov in fifth. There's Jack Cedric, Corentin Guinness, Preben Vala, Kieran Harrison, Oliver Ackerman, Terje Flatten, Marcel Tai, Jason Cooper, Damien Harris, Marius Karlstad, George Simmons, Nathan Davies, Fraser Smith, Mark Woodhouse, and Hugh Etzman rounding up the top 20. Behind that was Adam Hadfield. Luke, not like, how, I think, well, I'm blaming that on Luke that he's misspelled his name, but we'll have to check that one.
He did it to catch you out.
Luke Kidsley in 22nd, Mikael Garcia in 23rd, Robin Monster 24th, Norbert Leitner in 25th, and actually Jens Ledwig was in 26th, so someone must have got like a post-race penalty, I can only imagine. Let's see if anyone's looking particularly odd further down. Marcel Fitch was in 27th, there was Adam Bath, Bobby Thompson, Toby Ward, Tim Perry, Daniel Nagy. Did he get a penalty? Probably not, no, I don't think so. Gaten Anger, he was doing quite well as well. Stu Abbott, Andrew Woodhouse, Baron Glover, Robert Rund, Sergei Glazkov in 38th. Then it was Ole Marcus Jorgensen, Kevin Marshall Say, Martin Shirley, Andrew Brammer, and Paul Coburn. They were on the lead lap. The drivers who will also score points will be Bruno Belny, Mark Johnston, and Rob Sandford. And then the drivers who won't score points are Jake Robertson, Arjun Backer, and Oystein Hereford as well. So only 3 retirements, which I count as a success.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, you need the lungs of Pavarotti to read out a results sheet for the ARLTC, and sometimes we can have nearly 60 cars as well. Now, while you were doing such a grand job of reading all of our drivers' names out, Sam, I've been doing a bit of digging about Daniel Nagy. He is you are absolutely correct. TCR Europe Touring Car Series drives a Hyundai i30N TCR, not a Veloster like they have in the United States. And I have to say, in road form, that i30N, I have to say that does tickle my fancy. I do like a hot hatch.
Yes, well, we know that our boss Alex Simpson has one of these Aldis, so he's already living the
an
dream.
Aldi.
I believe so. I think has got an
He's an
Audi
RS3. Yeah,
an RS3. Yeah,
I had one of those as well.
Aha!
Awful understeer, absolutely monumental engine, different engine to the touring car. So it's a 2.5 litre 5-cylinder. Sounds like the Quattro rally car. Brilliant engine, terrible handling. Preferred my Lotus that I got after it.
Yes, although may I ask about the reliability of comparison between the two?
Actually not as catastrophic as you might think. For those that know that Lotus stands for lots of trouble, usually serious. And actually, I had one small problem, but it was never a problem. The wonderful Lotus dealer in Scotland looked after it, and it was. I only had it for a year, and it was just a little throttle sensor issue, but nothing too catastrophic. But that's when you put a Japanese Toyota Camry engine in the back of it. That was a wise call for whoever designed the car in the first place.
Yeah, it would be nice if iRacing could get a couple more TCRs. I mean, then we would have the debate of, balance of performance. But even if it was just like bodywork difference, I'd be well up for that. A bit like they do with the supercars, of course. Even if it was just a different shell for each of the cars, that would be very nice because there are some iconic cars that we are currently missing from the TCR roster.
I tell you what I would like. I would like a Cyan Racing Lynx & Co, the Chinese one. I think it's a wonderful looking car. With Ivan Muller at the wheel.
Yes, there are some absolute beauts out there. As we're into the last 20 minutes of warm-up. By the way, I don't think we mentioned it earlier, but so currently 20 past 11. It should be a bit later than that. But we'll see if that advances. I'm not quite sure. But I think this warm-up, this final race may be in late afternoon. We will see if it advances or not. Apologies to the drivers if the time of day is slightly incorrect. But yeah, it seems like it will stay at 11 o'clock. 36 degrees track temperature. I just wish it was like this in the UK at the moment. 23 air temperature would be very nice. To be honest, what I miss is it not being dark at 4 o'clock. Call me a luxury man, but I do quite like some daylight for out there.
Well, we're not allowed to go outside and enjoy it at the moment anyway, so living the hermit life. But as the warm-up ticks over, it's time for race 3, already off what has been a fantastic start to the ARLTC season. We'll run through the first couple of rows. Jens Ledwig and Norbert Leitner start on row 1, followed by Robert Monsard, Mikkel Garcia, Light Kidsley, and Luke Kidsley's got me as well, and Adam Hadfield in 6th. Row 4 will be Hugh Betterman and Mark Woodhouse. Row 5 will be Fraser Smith and Nathan Davies. And row 6, George Simmons and Marius Karlstad. Row 7 will be Damien Harris and Jason Cooper, followed by Marcel Ty, Terry Flatton, Oliver Ackerman, Kieran Harrison, the defending champion, Pribin Wally, Corentin Guinness, Jack Sedgwick, Igor Shurikov, Ben Gregory, and Craig Williams. Rounding out row 12, followed by Karl Janssen, who's had a great start to the season, followed by and also Wojciech Swiridovic. And it looks like we are ready to go. We are indeed. We wait for the lights to illuminate. We've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5. Out they go, and we're off. Ledwig leads us away down towards turn 1. It looks like Norbert Leitner's got a very good run there in the number 157 car. The Hungarian has got a superb start. Norbert Leitner, they call him Norby, from Budapest, and through he goes into the lead. The HM Engineering star. Tell you what, Sam, they're going to have to really be on their game to keep a hold of Norbert Leitner.
Yeah, I think so. Ledwig is going to have a tricky time now because he's got some quick drivers behind him. I doubt he'll be able to keep up with Leitner. So next up, Garcia is right behind. Then it's Kidsley, Hadfield and Eatsman just further back. Poor start for Robin Monster. He went from 3rd down to 7th off the start, and we saw one of the drivers get real close to the inside of the track. I think there had been maybe Adam Hadfield. He had to get right to the inside. It's got Marcel Ty with another slowdown. I really didn't think that the slowdowns were going to be that much of a problem for the drivers today, but it really has been for the guys out there. Swiridovic already up into 23rd. Other big gainers, Jack Sedgwick up 4 or 5 places. He's currently battling hard with a few drivers as they outbreak themselves. 3 wide going into club. Someone's going to have to hit the sausage curve surely, which will lose you a bit of time as those front tyres lose traction. And out of the front of that pack, I think was Karlstad or something, as we've got quite a big incident down at Vale and Club, and that's Baron Glover. He's had to cut the circuit, and well, hopefully he doesn't have too much damage.
Problem there for Andrew Woodhouse as well. He'd gone off circuit down to 45th place, nearly all the way to the back. So problems for Andrew Woodhouse. And I think he's maybe got some damage. Whoa, you'll see. Yep, he's definitely not at full speed there. That is for sure. So he's just got a little bit of damage there on the front left quarter of the car. He's maybe thinking to himself, Sam, I quite fancy getting back behind the microphone. It's a bit safer there.
You know full well it's not. But yeah, Smith as well battling at the moment with Ledwig, who's fallen down to 6th place now as Ledwig. So just once you let one car go, it's tricky not to let them all go. Kidsley has a lot of air. That's a lot of air, and he almost spins about. So Ledwig actually back up to 4th place. I'm guessing from him. Kidsley really slow. He's just trying to get back up to speed and let everyone know where he is. But well, that's painful because, you know, I've raced in this series for a couple of meetings before, and you love it when you get up there on the reverse grid. You think, this is my chance, you know, you can get a legit good result here if the cars fall right, and then you lose 10 places in one corner, and all that is undone. Oh, we've got a sliding ARLTC car, and we've also got a Flatten as well. That must have been like Swiridovic or something. Skating across the track, and well, was lucky not to wipe a few more drivers out. There is Swiridovic. He's right in the mix.
Yeah, that was proper Francois Delacour style. Absolutely broadside, like you mentioned earlier. MotoGP, Marc Marquez backing it into the corner there, and actually Wojciech did an amazing job there to actually avoid any bigger accident than there already was. Good stuff, and brilliant car control to stop there being a bit more of a disaster there. But this is classic race 3 action, isn't it? Just so much door-to-door proper action. You go, whoa, dearie me, Bobby Thompson. Oh, what a rude awakening. Oh, goodness. That was just got leaned on there and round he went.
I can only imagine Thompson didn't realise that it was 3 wide because he left quite a bit of space on the side of the circuit and was assuming that his rival was going to open up a bit more, but they were unable to. So Thompson well down. And just for clarification, I mean 60th place is like the 1 point. You have 50th place, which is about last place. We've got about 50 drivers out there. That's about 10 points. And then the race win is 75. So it is quite a difference as it's tricky to keep tabs on everything that's going on. The front view are spread out, but meanwhile everyone else is all in a big battle. Robertson, who's had a very disappointing day so far, he's up 16 places after 3 short laps of Silverstone International, so much better race for him here, just trying to recover any points that he can, albeit this would surely be one of his drop rounds should he continue for the rest of the season. He's battling with Guinness, who's been up at the front most of today. Guinness actually down 10 places, which is very odd, but I thought he'd be moving forwards. It's 3 wide again going down into Vale. Guinness trying to take advantage here. Lovely speed around the outside. That was good work. I think it was Adam Buff absolutely diving down the inside into Vale and was very lucky to get it stopped. And actually Buff driving pretty well in this race, 2 and 3. He's up into 28. That's the highest he's been all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. He's certainly recovering well in the Aston Villa mobile. Certainly, you can see even the helmet colours in Aston Villa spec as well there as well. It's Adam Barthel. Oh, he's going to get T-boned here. Be careful. Oh, that was close there. Nearly got T-boned by one of the HM Engineering car there. I think Cornton Guinness. I tell you what, not used to seeing Cornton Guinness running that far down the pack. He is super quick. He is well, like I say, is the Laurent Aiello of the HM Engineering squad, or Ivan Muller if you prefer.
Yeah, he must have had a mistake, Guinness, or something, because I think since we've been watching, he's gone up about 4 places. That was straight on for Hereford, who was he retired, didn't he, in race 2? He's again done well as Hereford. So many instances that we've had quite a few drivers in this midfield now who've gained loads of places. He started on the back. The back was actually quite a good place to start because there weren't too many instances there, but it was kind of 20th to 30th where we saw a few collisions on the first lap. Good to see Josh Simmons back up there in 4th place. He's been a bit quiet today, Simmons, albeit he will be one of the highest point scorers for tonight. Started this race in 11th place, finished race 2 in about 15th then, 16th by my reckoning. So we'll score some decent points. He's up into 4th, but Leitner and Hadfield dominating this race 2 at the moment. Hadfield just at the fastest lap of the race.
Absolutely, yeah. He'll be desperately trying to get into the drafting range of Norbert Leitner at the moment. He's just 1.1 seconds or so behind the Hungarian HM Engineering star, and if he can just get to within about half a second, then he'll really be able to try and make an impression. Plenty of time to go, just a little bit over 13 minutes to go in this motor race. But Mark Woodhouse, that's more like it, up into 10th place for the Team Mad driver. Now, I've always wondered this, I've never asked. I presume there's there's a relative theme here with Mark and Andrew. Are they brothers or cousins, or am I off the mark by completely?
I don't believe they are related, unfortunately. It's caused much confusion for myself. We've also got we've had Fletchers as well, who have been not being brothers. Very confusing. As Janssen into 12th place. My God, Janssen is... if he can keep this form up, Janssen, then he could very much win this championship. Because he didn't qualify on the front row of the grid, but since then he's been by far the best driver out on circuit. Just make it look easy to move up the places, but it's really not. He's up 11 places in this specific race as gets on the brakes. That's Harrison running wide.
Oh, I think it's... Now, who's that in the frozen speaker? Mikel Garcia getting all kinds of squirrely there. I think he may be getting a little bit of help in there as well, and you've got to be so used to, whoa, a little bit of rough and tumble there as well. I think that's now, Watchix for Divic coming through. And a little bit of nudge here, a little nudge. You think, oh, I'm giving room to the guy to the left, and oh, there's somebody on my right. You've got to have such good eyes up, and I guess it's got to be a bit of an advantage, Sam, to the drivers who have either got a triple screen set up on their sim, or even better, a VR headset.
Well, as a single screen unit user, I always say that's the difference between myself and the best. In this racing, it is though genuinely quite useful. I always use a very wide field of view. Strangely, I see some streamers and they're like out of the car, they're like on the bonnet, and I don't quite like that. But using a slightly wider field of view, I do think helps you slightly. Just improves your peripheral vision. You can see out of most of the windscreen. It does help quite a bit. As Ledwick, he was doing so well. Remember, Ledwick started from pole, dropped down to 6th within a couple of laps, then got back up to 4th. But he's just undone some of that good work. He was 5th, he's down into 8th. Shame that Monster had the issues that he had off the start. I'll keep an eye on Monster's times for the rest of the race, because he's now in a little bit of free air in 5th place, as long as Harris doesn't overtake him. Because Monster started in 3rd, he started up there with Leitner and Kay. But was involved in an incident off the line, or just didn't get off the line well, and pretty much ruined his chances for the race win. Otherwise, I think he would have been right up there with Hadfield and Leitner. Speaking of those top two, they are only 0.4 of a second between the pair of them, so it is close. But I think we'll stick with this: Harris versus Monster.
Yep, indeed. It's closing up at the front very, very quickly indeed, and looks like we might get a bit of a grandstand finish before the end of this race here at Silverstone to conclude the first round of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship. I tell you what, Sam, I'm very excited for when we head off to Oran Park. I mean, that is going to be busy when we get there. The track that'll take less than a minute to go around. It'll be like a warm day at Knockhill.
I can't recall this series in ARLTC. Ooh, that was fair contact. Again, try not to get a punch, guys. I can't remember this series ever visiting Oran Park, not that I've seen. I imagine it has done. We've visited New Hampshire. Lovely circuit, by the way. I will just say New Hampshire. Unfortunately, most drivers don't own it, so we're not going to put it on the calendar. But they've been to some pretty obscure circuits, basically. They've been to Homestead, Miami, as well. And Phoenix on the Oval, I think. But not too many times Oran Park, so no, that would be very nice. Unfortunately, we can't go to Alton Park, which we would undoubtedly visit, but unfortunately that track has got very limited grid stalls, and so you can't have many drivers race around there, unfortunately. So that's a bit of a shame, but I think Oran Park is the next best thing. I think they're kind of cousins on opposite sides of the world.
And absolutely, yeah. Well, maybe for the Alton Park we could do like a kind of 1980s Formula One where it's qualify the car or go home.
Yeah, could be good. Or we've got pre-qualifying. Yeah, jump in. That'd be very good. Good idea. Season 4.
And of course really the big news though, really, Sam, is that we've got Knockhill coming on the. Coming on to iRacing. I don't know, is it season 2, season 3 when they're planning on doing it, do you know?
I don't think it's been announced yet, but saying that compared to the other circuits that they've scanned, Knockhill, I mean, they could scan the whole of Scotland. I mean, there's nothing there, is there? So, and it wouldn't take nearly as much time as it took to do this place. So, hopefully, it won't take them too long, and they'll be able to bash it out quite soon. As Hadfield has taken the lead of the race, he's got past Norbert Leitner, or has he? Back comes Norbert Leitner, retaking the race lead. And that was good defense, but Hadfield has a slight inside. Has to back out, and quite slow as well out of that corner. They have done well to drop Edsman, who's about to be swallowed up by Simmons. But Leitner versus Hadfield, I think this is a proper 50-50. I can't call this one. I think Hadfield's got the potential to overtake, but Leitner has shown himself to be very good in combat.
Indeed, he has. Yeah, I seem to remember one race. I think it was at Motegi last season where he got in a right old punch up in the final section there as well. So yeah, he's there to sharpen his elbows with the best of them. Is Norbert Leitner, and you do not get the gig at HM Engineering without being pretty handy behind the wheel. But Adam Hadfield putting on the best pressure he can as they go underneath the Johnny Walker Scotch Whisky Bridge. Yeah, if we were at Knockhill, it would be the Beatson's Building Supplies Bridge. I bet that took a while to scan. It's actually being rebuilt at the moment.
well, typical iRacing curse there. Like Kidsley, my goodness. Again, if Luke can't spell his own name, then he ought not to be out there. That could have been a lot worse. That could have been. That was the best case scenario. Unfortunately, Kidsley then toned back. Certainly didn't have too much damage on that car, but didn't regard the points as too high a priority, and that is a shame for Kidsley. Certainly a contender, I think, for the Amateur Championship. The top 2 places in the Amateur Championship do get some trophies. And I don't mean to get too political, but unfortunately our trophy supplier is not able to export to the EU at the moment. So maybe until that's sorted out, then they will be able to get that. But no, as it's planned, the top 3 in both the pro and the amateur, and the teams as well, will get a few trophies, and they're nice trophies as well. As we see Savinovic, Williams was the one who lost out there. Williams, of course, 3rd place in race 2, and he's lost 4 places by my count there.
Oh, yeah, indeed. He's just got actually lucky not to spin completely there, but it just shows you can have some comically wild moments in these cars and sort of gather it up. The classic front-wheel drive, just bury your foot in the throttle, hold the wheel straight, and hope for the best, and often you can get away with it. It's one of the advantages of front-wheel drive. Apart from, I was thinking, I've had a couple of quite high, relatively high-powered front-wheel drive cars, and my God, they mash through tires.
Yeah, I can imagine. I guess with all that weight as well, put on the front, then gonna chew them up pretty quick. So, how often do you actually need to replace the tires on that?
On a touring car?
Well, I think you said earlier on you had an RS3 in the past. Did you have to change the tires?
No, they're 4-wheel drive, so that's quite good actually. It spreads it out a little bit. But I've got an RS200 Clio now with front-wheel drive. It is normally aspirated, which does help the tyre wear rather than the turbo. But it's especially when you drive like a hooligan, like I do, which I'm not.
Williams now 0.3 of a second behind. He's just trying to recover some of those places that he lost a moment ago. Good work for Mark Woodhouse to be up there in 10th place at the moment. Marius Karlstad in 11th. So he has done very well as Karlstad. So basically those Zodiac cars, maybe we'll promote all of them. I know, we'll have to dive deep into the data. We mainly take into consideration the qualifying tyres for the drivers. If you are good in racecraft, then that you can stay in the amateur category because that's just good driving. But if you're fast, then that's usually what gets promoted you to the pro category. So I think the organisers will have to have a look at that one later on. The top 10 relatively spread out in this race 3 as Hadfield has retaken the lead again according to the timing board. But back comes Leitner. Hadfield, I think, went for a bit of a dive there because he seemed to be storming past and then had an awful exit. He's running out of laps to do it. I believe we've only got 2 more laps to go after this one, and Hadfield, who's been sat on the back bumper of Leitner for a while, he needs to get this move done soon.
Yeah, he needs to. We're just coming into the closing stages now, just over 2.5 minutes to go. Is it going to be Leitner? Is it going to be Hadfield? It's too close to call right now. As you mentioned, Sam, they're so close in pace, and I think it's going to come down to a last lap lunge at either Stowe or the Club Chicane. We shall wait and see.
Yes, they race the happy again. We've got 2 minutes to go, so yeah, it will just be 2 more laps. We're just missing out that extra lap. There you go. That was a game. It's all Marquez, isn't it? Down into the hairpin. All legs out and trying to slow the car down, get the anchors out. He went wide. He didn't lose much time, did he?
No, and Leitner reclaims the lead there. I thought Hadfield was maybe going to have it. They was going to go for the block pass, but don't think that it'll be white flag next time around as they go down the hanger straight. Hadfield has the critical inside line here coming into Stowe, and get a beautiful move there. Nice and clean and tidy. Moves across the cover, the inside line for the club chicane now. This is a quick left then right. Need to be very careful here. Leitner goes for the nice wide entry. Is he going to go for the cutback? Whips round the boot lid here. Back on the power again and trying to get the power down in these cars. They do have quite a lot of power for a front wheel drive car, and trying to get the juice down really, really difficult. But Hadfield leads over the line as they take the white flag.
Yeah, the first lap that he's led so far in this race, but back comes Leitner. That's a brilliant line for Leitner. I think he might even have the upper hand, but he has to take a slightly longer route around the second part of Abbey, and can't get the inside. Real smart driving here from Hadfield. He's just stopping it on the apexes and getting the exit right. He's going to have to cover this one though. Oh, I think Leitner could have gone for that one, but now it's slightly wide for Hadfield, and Leitner's got a terrific run. He closes in so quick, he'll move ahead going into Stowe. The question is, can he carry the speed around the outside?
We'll see then, coming down the hanger straight for the final time then here in the opening round of the ARLTC Championship. Into Stowe they go. Hadfield just about caught the inside line. He runs Norbert Leitner wide. Norbert Leitner goes very, very wide right off the circuit. I wonder if he might get a slowdown penalty for that. It doesn't look like it so far. On the brakes hard. Hadfield's going to tough it out all around the outside and then gets the inside. I think he's going to take this. Adam Hadfield, he's going to break Norbert Leitner's heart right at the line. Is he? They race to the line. Who's going to get this? It's Leitner. Leitner gets it by a whisker at the very death. What a finish, Sam.
That was remarkable. I really thought, like you, Hadfield had the better line, didn't he? Going through the final corner. But Leitner was on the pad that bit early. He carried the speed, and 5 meters shorter, and I think Hadfield would have had it, but in the end, 2/100ths of a second. It is Norbert Leitner. He gets his race win, and considering how unlucky he was for race 1 and race 2, the fact they got pole for race 3 and then he's won that race, I think he's back even now with Lady Luck.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was an absolute thriller of a finish. It reminded me of MotoGP last year when Alex Rins just picked it at the last moment from Marc Marquez. Fantastic stuff. And well, MotoGP and touring cars, two of the most entertaining forms of motorsport, as Norbert Leitner gives it a big old skid and a slide there into Stowe for a bit of a celebration there as well. I'll tell you what, good tyre warming tactic that. So you see Kieran Harrison, the defending champion, 8th place finish for him. Classic Kieran Harrison, Sam, just bagging the points, just nice and quietly going about his business. He'll be there at the end of the championship, make no mistake. Yeah,
we barely saw him out there as we have anarchy down in the pits. My goodness, come on guys. You drove well for an hour, and now it's and that's Jack Cedric as well involved in that one. Yeah, a very good job, but I think it's Janssen who ends up as by far the highest point scorer. I mean, he gets a first, a second, and a 6th. You will not see a better set of results all season long. That might be the highest point score at a round for any driver all season long, so that is very impressive there for Janssen. He takes first blood this season, but we've still got 15 more meetings to go over the next 4 months.
Indeed, yeah, it's we've got a very long season with plenty of action to come. And confirming then, Norbert Leitner wins by 16 thousandths of a second. Oh, the width of the paint on the car. Adam Hadfield just missing out, chased Norbert Leitner all the way. George Simmons nearly capitalised on the battle between Leitner and Hadfield. He finished 3rd with Hubertum in 4th, Damian Harris in 5th. Carl Janssen, as you said, Sam, an absolutely superb meeting from the Super Swede. Fraser Smith was 7th, followed by Kieran Harrison, Jack Sedgwick, Mark Woodhouse getting the win in the AM class, followed by Marius Karlstad, Wojciech Swerdovic, Robin Monster, Oliver Ackman, Craig Williams, Ollie Marcus Jorgen, Gaten Anger, Nathan Davies, Mikkel Garcia, Marcel Tai, Ben Gregory, Jens Ledwig, Igor Shirikov, Tim Perry, Jake Robertson, Adam Bath, Marcel Fritsch, and Mark Johnson for Hesketh Racing. They'll be going off to have some lobster and some champagne, as the Hesketh Racing guys normally do. Followed by Toby Ward was 29th, followed by Aryan Bakker, Robert Rund, Sergei Glazkov, Baron Glover, Martin Shirley, Kevin Marshalsey, Andrew Brama, Daniel Nagy, Paul Coburn, Terry Flatten, Andrew Woodhouse in 40th, followed by Corrington Guinness. Not a good day for the Frenchman, not up to his standards. Rob Sanford was 42nd, followed by Stu Abbott, Luke Kidsley, Osteen Hereford, Preben Wally, Jason Cooper, and Bobby Thompson last of the bunch. Not quite. Bruno Bellamy taking that honour in 49th position. Well, a cracking start to the season here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, and we have the first of our drivers, very quick and prompt to come in and have a chat to us. Preben Wally is with Sam Fitzpatrick.
I accidentally just moved into the doing me. Preben Valley, can you hear us, Preben?
I can, loud and clear.
Awesome. Well, how was it out there? First race of the season. Of course, you raced last season as well, but it must have been pretty frantic out there racing with 50 other cars.
Yeah, this was a dogfight, but it was so much fun to be back. After last season, there was never any question of doubt that I wanted to return. And starting at Silverstone International, which is tiny, was always going to be mayhem. And I guess you got what you wanted, so that was fun.
Yes, it made for a very good broadcast. Your pace out there was really good, particularly race 1 and race 2, 12th and 8th. Is there much practice that goes into each of these meetings with setups and stuff, or is it very much a case of you being able to find the speed quite quickly for each track?
I'm going to be honest with you this time. After quite a few Norwegians this year, we've been practicing a lot. We worked together for them to figure out the car setups and all that. So I've done about 500 laps, which is crazy. But yeah. So there's quite a bit of practice and set of work that's gone into this.
Well, it's good to see someone taking it seriously, and it's certainly paid off for you with those results. Full Send Racing, I don't believe you were racing for them last season. Give us a quick kind of rundown of how old the team is and kind of what your aims are for this season.
Well, I'm quite new to the team. After last season, I was picked up. They must have liked something, and I just wanted to have someone to race with who takes iRacing seriously. So that's why I'm in Full Send, and I'm very happy for Steen Ledger, who gave me the chance, Fraser and Mikael, my teammates, and Ollie Peacock, who helped us a lot with setups. So it's a good place to be.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations out there today, Preben, for those very good results. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Well, I want to give a shout out to Terje, who did amazingly for his first race. He was quickest in practice. He qualified 5th, I think, had an amazing first race, then got struck by what we call the ARL bug, which is cars into your side panels. So I want to give him a massive shout out. He did so well tonight.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Preben, and we'll see you back next week.
Definitely. Thank you.
Preben Valley there for Full Send Racing with a 12th and 8th and a 46th tonight, which is some pretty good points. A couple of top 12s can rack up the points for you. Just a little bit of a reminder to the viewers that we had 50 cars out there, but we do have a cap of 60 cars. So there are still 10 places free, and if you want to take part in the remaining 15 meetings of the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, go to the apexracingleague.com website and you can find sign up details on there for the rest of the season. You just pay the entry fee, you go on the you fill out the entry form, and then you're all sorted. Jump in our Discord as well. There's a link in the description below. Jump in our Discord and you can join all the you can have access to all the necessary details and stuff about the league and have a few chats with the drivers as well. So go to apexracingleague.com for that.
So we have Kieran Harrison, our defending champion, coming in to have a chat with us as well. Kieran Harrison, welcome back to the Apex Racing TV commentary boxes, now with the number 1 plate on the side of the car. I bet that feels quite nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It's a bit tough today as the number 1. Maybe you'd expect me to win, but Carl was really quick today. But I had an okay day, so...
So tell us about out there. I mean, the Silverstone International is not necessarily a layout which is entirely familiar to everyone. Some like it, some don't. How did you find it out there?
I actually quite like the track. It's one of them tracks where there's not really very many corners, so everybody's really close, and the back straight's quite long for these cars, so it was keeping everybody well within the draft. So it was a constant fight through all 3 races the whole way because nobody could get away from each other. But yeah, it's a good track to start the season, I suppose. Nice and wide, easy to avoid crashes, and great for battling.
Indeed, yes, of course. And you guys at HM Engineering have had quite a lot of success in all kinds of sim racing in the last little while, particularly in the touring car world. We've in another series I commentate on, we've been calling Corentin Guinness the Laurent Aiello of sim racing. How's it been for you in terms of this is a very competitive championship? Has having that strong stable of guys helped to get the car dialed in and get up to speed?
Yeah, it's really nice. I think this year this season we've got one of the strongest teams for sure, which it really helps with. I mean, you can work together in the races, we can work together on setup. It's really beneficial in that sense compared to having a 1-car team. So yeah, it's really nice to have the guys with me.
And finally, on that point, is it with qualifying? Obviously, in qualifying, it's a group qualifying session. Is there any, in your opinion, is there any merits in working together to kind of tow each other around in qualifying, or do you guys go out and do your own thing?
Well, yeah, it's vital in these qualifying sessions to be in the slipstream. Otherwise, you'll never get a competitive lap in. So we always go out with we go near each other with the backup of working together if we can't get a draft off anyone else. But if it works out that we're just in the draft of somebody else anyway, we just carry on and get on with the session.
I see. Fantastic insight indeed. Now, Kieran, before we let you go, who would you like to shout out to here on Apex Racing TV?
Of course, I'd like to say thanks to my family and friends for tuning in, as they always do. My team, HM Engineering, you guys, of course, for running the series and broadcasting it, and my teammates, Corentin and Norbert.
Fantastic stuff. Well, Kieran, thank you so much for taking the time to come in and chat to us, and hopefully we'll speak again very soon.
Thank you.
So that was our defending champion, Kieran Harrison, coming in to have a chat with us, and we have one more person to come and chat to us. Sam Fitzpatrick is with Damien Owen Harris.
Yes, hello Damien, how is it going? It must be pretty good because, that was a very nice meeting for you.
It was indeed, yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting it, I'll be honest. I got halfway through quali and saw myself down about 20th place, and I thought, oh no, I'm really going to struggle here. But no, the race turned out okay. I mean, I saw incidents going on around me, and yeah, just things went my way today. I was lucky.
I've got to ask you, I mean, when you were up front in that race 1, you were facing with some of the best drivers in the series, you know, some champions in the series. Does that come into your mind at all? You know, the fact that, you know, these guys have been around in the series for maybe 4 or 5 years and have won many races. Do you drive those drivers slightly differently compared to maybe some of the rookie drivers out on the grid?
You know what? I want to prove myself this series. Previous series have gone by, and I've been naive with certain moments and certain races, and I've gone for moves I shouldn't have done. And I know I'm as fast as these guys at front, and I just want to prove that, because I feel, yeah, if I can get consistent results without getting any penalties or anything like that, I can be right up there at the end of the season. It's just about proving that, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you certainly proved that tonight. How was Silverstone International? Have you raced around this circuit before?
No, I prefer the Grand Prix version, I'll be honest. But yeah, I haven't raced around here before, so yeah, a lot of practice went in. there's a lot of races a lot of meets in the grid in the schedule this year that I'm really looking forward to. So especially VIR and Sonoma, I'm really looking forward to those two. So yeah, lots of positive things to take from today, and looking forward to the schedule ahead. Really looking forward to it. And I'd just like to say congratulations to everyone today, because it was a great racing out there. Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to, Damien, or is that about it?
Yeah, my wife has been watching at home for the last 2 hours. Yeah, she likes to watch all my races. So yeah, she's probably still up with a baby. So yeah, shout out to her. And shout out to Fiercely Forward as well. We haven't got any drivers except me here in this championship. But yeah, they're my team, and we'll try and do the best we can.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Damien, and best of luck for round 2.
Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next meet. Thanks very much.
Damien Harris there with a 6th, a 14th, and a 5th, which, by my very approximate calculations, that's probably put him in the top 5 in the championship, I imagine. Somewhere about that. So good job there for Damien. I think that's about it for the interviews, Peter.
It is indeed. It's been a fantastic start to the season here in the Apex Racing League Touring Car Championship, and well, Carl Janssen, he's staked his claim for his place as a proper championship contender. But as we talked about in the broadcast, we're going to go to a huge variety of circuits. And I mean, final thoughts, Sam. I guess adaptability and patience is going to be so important over this season, particularly when we go to circuits that maybe aren't the household favourites like a Spa or a Silverstone or Brands or wherever, but I suspect that's where the championship's going to be won and lost, in these slightly more quirky venues.
Yeah, and a lot of venues that maybe the drivers aren't quite kind of familiar with in the past. But you're right that there are lots of quirky ones. There's a few circuits that we haven't visited in the past. I will add that Suzuka Grand Prix we somehow haven't visited before, so that was a sure one. But all the other kind of new circuits that on the schedule, we kind of thought, well, may as well put them on the calendar. So yeah, Oran Park, of course, Bathurst we're visiting, Brands Hatch Indy, which should be the same week as PSRTC. As BTCC, apologies, which may not actually be going ahead, to be fair, but still we're racing at Brands Hatch Indy, so that will be good. Indianapolis Grand Prix across Kota West, we've got the Nordschleife coming up as well, so yeah, it'll be a brilliant championship, I'm sure. 15 meetings still to go. It's easy to get ahead of yourself where you say, oh, I think I know he's going to win the championship, but it can change so easily in a meeting or two. So this international circuit, despite no one basing out here, this is probably one of the more well-known circuits for the drivers. So no, that will certainly be a big element later on in the season.
It certainly will. And Sam, you know I love a fun fact or two, and I've got some doozies up my sleeve in my big commentary folder for you the rest of the season, particularly Suzuka. That's one of my favourite storytelling tracks as well. So, but the problem is in the touring cars we don't get much gaps between the action, so you might be saved after all from my droning on. Well, that is all we have time for here on Apex Racing TV. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast of round 1 of the ARLTC Championship, and we will see you same time next week, 8 PM GMT on Apex Racing TV. We'll see you for round 2. Thanks for watching, and good night.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.